Welcome to my channel Design with Rusbe. Continuing with CSWA practice problems, today we'll work on question 2.9. Let's take a look at this question. So in this question, unit of measurement is millimeter gram second. Like always, we need to ensure we are using the same unit of measurement in our SolidWorks setting. Now, looking at this geometry, it's a pretty much simple geometry. Looking at the top view, you can see that we have all the dimensions listed there. My approach is to focus on the top view, make a 2D sketch, and then from there, I can use Extruded bus feature to make the final model. So with this introduction, let's jump into SolidWorks and start modeling this part. In SolidWorks, first thing first, we need to check unit of measurement. And as you can see, I have millimeter gram second, which is a correct unit of measurement. Now, I'm going to start with the top plane. To do this, I click on a sketch, click on the sketch command, and I'm going to choose top plane. Because I'm dealing with a symmetric geometry, I'm going to make a symmetry line here. To do this, I click on drop down menu and then I choose center line. And here I'm going to have horizontal line. This is a line that I'm going to use as a symmetry line. Now, we have two different approaches. We can model everything, or because this is a symmetric geometry, we can take advantage of that and we can only model half of the geometry. I want to use the second approach. Basically, I want to use mirror command and make the whole model. So let's start by making the center hole in the geometry. To do this, I click on circle command and then I'm going to make a hole here. Also, I need to have a rectangle surrounding this hole. So what I can do, I can click on line command, and then here I'm going to make 3 lines, something like this. Okay. We also need an arc shape. So the way I can add that arc, I can click on arc command here. And then because this is a symmetric geometry, the center point of the arc must be on the symmetry line. So I click on the line and here I make half an arc shape. I also need 2 small circles. So what I can do, from a sketch command, I can click on circle command, and then here I'm gonna have the first circle and the second one. Okay, great. Now we have half of the geometry. Let's add some dimensions and relationship to this geometry. First of all, we know that the diameter of the large circle is 7 millimeters. So I click on a smart dimension, I click on a circle, and this dimension must be 7. Also, we know that the diameter of the small circles should be 3 millimeters. So this one is 3 and this one is 3. We also have a relationship between these circles. First of all, we want a small circle, the center point, to be right on top of the center point of the large circle. So what I can do, I can click on it, hold Control, click on the center point of the large circle and choose vertical relationships. Also, we want these 2 circles, 2 small circles, to be on a horizontal line. So I click on the center point, hold Control, click on the center point of the second circle, and I'm going to choose horizontal relationship. Okay, great. Looking at the question, we know that the distance between the center point of this circle and the walls should be 5 millimeters. So I click on a smart dimension, and this distance should be 5 millimeter. This distance should also be 5 millimeter. Okay. Okay, let's focus on the next dimension. Looking at the top view, we know that the overall width of the geometry is 26 millimeters. So I can click on a smart dimension, select the line, and this length should be 26. Okay. Also, we know that the overall height of the geometry is 28 millimeters. Because I'm modeling only half of that height, I can make this conclusion that the overall height here should be 14 millimeters. 28 divided by 2 is 14 millimeters. Okay. We also know the radius of the arc. If you look at the top view, you can see that the radius of the arc should be 12 millimeters. So I select 12 millimeters here. Okay. Don't panic if you see some sort of explosion in your geometry. Now you see that everything shifted. And the reason is that the geometry is not fully constrained. That's why everything moved. I can simply click on one of the point. For example, you see this blue line. I click on a point and I try to move it back. Same for here. I click on it and I try to move it back. That's it. Now we have a normal geometry. So don't panic if you see that sort of weird shape. You can simply move the blue lines to make it some sort of realistic model. Okay, so the next dimension I want to add is the distance between the arc shape and a large circle. That distance must be 3 millimeters according to the drawing that we have. So the way I want to add that dimension is that I want to take advantage of the point command. From a sketch tab, click on a point and add a point here to the circle. And now I have 2 points. So what I can do, I can click on the smart dimension, click on this point, click on a second point, and this distance should be 3 millimeters. So I click on it and this is 3, okay? And the last dimension that I need to add is the distance between this small hole and a left wall. According to the drawing that we have, this distance must be 17 millimeters. So I click on the smart dimension, I click on center point, I select the left line, and this distance must be 17 millimeters. Awesome. So as you can see, now we have a fully defined geometry. Every single line is shown with a black color, which means that the geometry is fully defined, everything is ready. So before using extruded boss feature, I want to use mirror feature to complete my geometry. So to do this, I can click on sketch tab, and then from here I can use mirror entities. And then here I'm going to choose everything, and for mirror line, click on it and then select this line, the line that we have in the center of the geometry. Click on it and you can see the preview. Click on OK, and now you can see everything is shown as it should be. The only problem here, it's not a problem, but you can see that the curve or the arc that we had is shown with blue color. Let's see why. I click on this point and I can move it. Somehow the dimension that I added between the arc and the circle is gone. I don't know why, but you can clearly see that I'm missing that dimension. So what I can do, I can add the dimension again. Click on a point and then add a point here and click on a smart dimension. Select this point, and the distance should be 3 millimeters. And now I have a fully defined geometry. Okay, awesome. So now everything is ready to use extruded boss feature. Click on a feature, click on extruded boss, and then here for the contour, I'm going to select the contour. Now the question is, what's the thickness that we want? According to the drawing that we have, the overall thickness of this plate is 2 millimeters. So I simply change the thickness to 2 millimeters, click on OK, and that's it. That's the final geometry. Awesome. So last step is to check the total volume, make sure this is the correct model. So let's go back to the question and check the total volume. In the question, the total volume is provided. You can see the number on the right side. The total volume is 1,273 cubic millimeters. Let's go back to SolidWorks and check the total volume. In SolidWorks, in order to check the total volume, you can click on Evaluate tab, then click on Mass Properties, and here you can see the total volume. The volume is 1,272.49 cubic millimeters. If you round up this number, we get exactly the same answer as it's shown in the question. This is showing that our modeling is correct and there's no problem with it. Okay, I think that's a wrap for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any feedback, please leave comments down below. Thanks again for watching. My name is Ruzbe. Hope to see you again soon in the next videos.